Oh, what's up? Oh, what's up?
Yo, what up? It's Amaj back in another video. Today we're about to be watching Random Morbid Facts. I've been watching this YouTuber for like a couple of years on like short form content, and I finally just decided to, do a reaction video because I've been throwing out a lot of reaction videos and just grinding. But let's do it, bro. Let's see what he has to offer with the knowledge of just never before seen or never.
Facts, Part 842. Jack Black's teenage years were marked by addiction long before fame entered his life. After his parents divorced, he began stealing money from his mom to buy cocaine at just 14 years old, spiraling into substance abuse while still practically a child. The addiction took hold during a period of instability and isolation, but he later thanked a non-judgmental school therapist with helping to pull him back from it. Jack ultimately got sober as a teenager, avoided relapsing as his career took off, and has spoken openly about how early intervention likely saved his life. In 1986,
Yo, that's crazy. I never knew that about Jack Black. Luckily, he received some help about that because addiction is a crazy ass thing. As you've seen, I just reacted to a whole video about like steroid use in WWE. And bro on there, he overdosed 7 times and still lived. But luckily, Jack Black got some help, man.
a Yakuza member attempting to smuggle a live hand grenade onto a flight from Manila to Osaka nearly took down the whole plane by accident. While hiding in the airport bathroom, the grenade's safety pin came loose, and in a moment of panic, the man abandoned it and fled back to his seat. Seconds later, the grenade exploded inside the aircraft, blasting a hole in the fuselage and resulting in rapid decompression. The explosion injured 109 passengers, but the plane somehow remained airborne long enough to make an emergency landing, narrowly avoiding what could have been one of the deadliest aviation attacks of the decade. Investigators later revealed that the man wasn't immediately arrested because he'd been badly injured in the blast. When the explosion ruptured a hydraulic line, hot oil sprayed all over his body, leaving him with severe burns that required immediate hospitalization before he was taken into custody.
That's fucking karma like a bitch, bro. Hot oil sprayed all over you, nigga. Hey, if that's not some higher power saying giving you some karma, I don't know what is.
Acclaimed filmmaker and actor Rob Reiner and his wife Michelle Singer Reiner have been found dead in their Brentwood, Los Angeles home in what investigators are investigating as an apparent homicide. Emergency responders discovered the couple inside the residence during a medical aid call when their daughter Romy reportedly found them dead with their throats slit. Their 32-year-old son Nick Reiner was taken into custody and held on $4 million bail in connection with the deaths, though police have not publicly released a confirmed motive. Nick has a well-documented history of long-term drug addiction and periods of homelessness, first entering rehab around age 15 and struggling for years before finally getting clean. He later worked with his father on the 2015 film Being Charlie, which drew on his experiences with addiction and recovery. Rob Reiner was one of Hollywood's most recognizable directors and actors, known for films such as Stand By Me, The Princess Bride, When Harry Met Sally, and A Few Good Men. His death alongside his wife's has sent shockwaves through the entertainment industry as authorities continue their investigation.
That's sad as fuck, bro. And I heard that Donald Trump was just said some disgusting things about his death. Like, bro, you the president, man. Like, what are you even doing, bro?
Here's some morbidly wholesome facts about John Cena. John Cena holds the all-time record for the most Make-A-Wish visits by far, personally granting over 650 wishes for children with life-threatening illnesses. Many of these visits have taken place in intensive care units or hospice settings, oftentimes with children who would pass away weeks or even days later. Hospital staff have said Cena routinely stays far longer than scheduled, sitting with families after cameras are gone, letting kids talk about fear, death, or unfinished dreams while he stayed fully in character as their hero. He's never publicized these encounters himself and refuses to use them for branding, saying he sees them as his life's purpose rather than for charity. Cena has also privately supported veterans suffering from severe PTSD and traumatic brain injuries, including meeting wounded soldiers who believed their lives were over due to permanent disabilities. Several veterans later said those conversations with the wrestling legend single-handedly saved their life. Cena has consistently avoided receiving any public credit for these interactions. Morbid.
See, this is why Cena's the GOAT, bro. I didn't even know the second part of him, you know. I know he had a lot of Make-A-Wishes, but I didn't know he did that for the sole purpose of, you know, giving the kids like that one last thing they hero right in front of them. You know, just giving them that off camera and making sure he stayed, even after schedule, bro. Cena to go, bro.
Facts, Part 839. In 2015, Florida mother Melanie Joyce Alexander was arrested after her 11-year-old daughter walked into school wearing a t-shirt basically exposing everything happening at home, and she had the bruises to prove it. The shirt declared she'd gotten a good whooping for bad grades, but teachers immediately noticed belt-shaped welts across her arms, legs, and lower back. Investigators say Melanie forced her to wear the shirt so the entire school would see why she'd been beaten, turning the punishment into a mix of public humiliation and physical abuse. The child was taken into protective custody, and Melanie was charged with felony child abuse, a case that went viral because the t-shirt meant to shame the girl ended up exposing the mother's crimes instead. Walter Francis White was a black civil rights investigator.
Man, I will say this every time. Some people do not need to have kids. Like, it's just terrible what they just do. Like, it's cool to discipline your kids because, like, sometimes they, you know, they do stupid shit. They're kids. They're bound to do stupid shit. But doing that and making sure people get your child gets humiliated in front of the whole school, that shit's out.
Who looked completely white, and he used that to slip into some of the most dangerous places during the Jim Crow era. He infiltrated lynch mobs, KKK meetings, in towns still soaked in violence after a killing, quietly collecting names, methods, and first-hand accounts from men who had no idea they were talking to an NAACP investigator. His cover was blown on various occasions, forcing him to flee as armed mobs put a bounty on his head, and he later said he only survived by outrunning men who fully intended to hang him. The reports he gathered remain some of the most detailed records of lynching in American history, documenting crimes most officials refuse to even acknowledge. This woman's life has been changed forever by a random horrific attack that lasted only a few seconds. 46-year-old Ashley Wazalewski was suddenly attacked without warning while walking near Forsyth Park in Savannah, Georgia, after attending a Christmas program at a nearby church on December 10, 2025. A stranger had approached her from behind and poured a corrosive chemical directly over her head, causing immediate catastrophic burns. The liquid ate through her clothing, burned deep into her skin, and was so caustic it melted a key fob in her pocket as it spread across her body. She suffered second and third degree burns over more than half her body, including her face and scalp, and began screaming as her clothes started burning off her skin. The attacker didn't take anything from her and simply fled the scene within seconds. A good Samaritan rushed in to help as she wailed in agony and called her family. Wazalewski was quickly transferred to the Augusta Burn Center, where doctors say recovery will involve prolonged hospitalization, multiple surgeries, and permanent scarring. As of the latest updates, the attacker has not yet been identified or arrested. These are some morbid facts.
Man, what the fuck, bro? That's just so random. Like, random people are out enjoying their life and just shit just sad that just happens out of nowhere. Why would you just pour some shit on like a random person? Like, bro, I hope they find this nigga so like they could just fucking prosecute this nigga. Like, that's just so fucking random. I will never understand that. Fucking
About Mac
stupid.
Miller. Mac Miller grew up in a wealthy family and learned to smoke cigarettes by the age of 8 and cannabis at age 10. By the time he reached high school, neither weed nor alcohol was enough for him anymore, opening the gateway to a cocktail of drugs including cocaine, meth, and lean. The rapper was always very open about his struggles with addiction, but also stated that he would never stop doing drugs completely because he hated being sober. Mac was madly in love with Ariana Grande and dated her for 2 years before they called it quits. It was revealed that Ariana broke up with him due to his severe addictions and unwillingness to go to rehab. The breakup broke Mac even more, resulting in further substance abuse. After his release of Swimming in August of 2018, Mac said he was feeling his best in years and finally had control of his addictions. But just 1 month later, Mac passed away from an accidental overdose due to a mixture of alcohol, cocaine, and fentanyl. 2 days before his death, Miller reportedly asked his dealer for Percocets, but instead he sold him counterfeit oxys that were laced with fentanyl. The dealer and supplier were both sentenced to 10+ years in prison for their roles in the 26-year-old's death. Morbid facts about Kurt Cobain.
rest in peace, Mac Miller. Addiction is just, like I said, it's just a hard slope to just get out of. Like, if you're thinking about doing like some or trying out new drugs, do not try it.
Part 3. A few weeks before Kurt's death, his wife Courtney Love called the Seattle police, informing them that Cobain was suicidal and had locked himself in a room with a gun. Police arrived and confiscated several guns and a bottle of pills from Cobain, who insisted that he wasn't suicidal at all, but had only locked himself inside the room to hide from Love. The next week, Courtney arranged an intervention regarding Cobain's drug use, inviting some of his closest friends. But Kurt reacted with anger by insulting the participants before locking himself in the upstairs bedroom. Kurt's body wasn't found until 3 days after he died, when his electrician stumbled upon it while looking for him. He'd left a note addressed to his childhood imaginary friend Boda, in which he quoted a Neil Young song saying, "It's better to burn out than to fade away." Neil Young said that this really messed with him, since he'd actually been trying to get in touch with Cobain around the time that he took his own life to offer encouragement. Private investigator Tom Grant, who was hired by Courtney Love to find Kurt when he went missing, believes that based on the evidence, Cobain was actually murdered by Courtney Love. Morbid Facts, Part...
Bruh, these are some crazy morbid facts. Like that fucking corrosion, whatever he poured on that lady, just so fucking stupid, bro. I really feel bad, bro. I really hope she can recover from that. And that lady that fucking like basically humiliated her own kid, like you better they better not take her away. I hope they taking her away, and I hope she can live with a relative. And man, yeah, luckily Jack Black's still with us, and I'm glad he survived that. But hey, if you guys want to see more of these type of videos by Morbid Facts, leave a like and subscribe. Shit, I'll be reacting to more of it. Catch you guys in the next video.